Right now on News 3, some much-needed financial help for home and business owners following last month's historic flooding.
And an uncertain future for a proposed hotel on State Street. We have an update straight ahead.
And later, rapid decline in Wisconsin dairy farms. It continues. We'll tell you what experts say is driving the change.
This is News 3 at 6.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Last month's flooding is something many of us won't soon forget, especially as an estimated 4,300 homes and 140 businesses in Wisconsin are still dealing with damage.
Well, that's according to the state, which is now offering some help to get home and business owners back on their feet. News 3's Madeline O'Neill joins us. She's in the news center with more tonight. Maddie?
Eric and Charlotte, in Wisconsin, it's estimated that homes and businesses combine for $150 million worth of damage, much of it centered in the Madison area. So the state is making $2 million worth of no-interest loans available to homeowners and is setting aside an additional $2 million worth of loans for businesses as well.
There's a lot of history in this building.
It takes time to establish a business.
This has been a large portion of my life and my family's life.
For 50 years, Schwegler's has built a following in this West Side building.
A lot of this work's been done by not only hardworking staff, but hardworking customers.
Now they're working on rebuilding.
You know, it was heartbreaking. It really was.
What once was.
We miss that. We can't wait for it to look better.
Countless hours will go into repairing the bowling alley.
It's a lot of work right now.
All the flood damage totaling about $1 million.
It's a scary number, that's for sure.
Especially as the lanes remain closed. And as we all know, time is money. Schwegler's field supervisor, Rob Bloxham, says to reach that figure, they'll be looking for any financial support they can scrounge up.
You have to. There's no way.
There's probably well over 100 impacted businesses.
For those businesses, agencies like the Madison Regional Economic Partnership will be distributing funds set aside from the state in the form of no-interest loans up to $15,000.
It's the kind of thing that might allow them to get back up and running a little quicker. We're not going to be able to take care of the $1 million losses, obviously.
At places like Schwegler's, any bit helps.
Things add up.
Time may be money, but the days ahead also bring hope.
It'll be a brand new bowling center, you know, and maybe not the right way, but it'll be fun when it gets there.
Schwegler's bar and restaurant area is open, but the goal is to reopen the lanes by November 15th. Area businesses that want more details on the loans can contact the Madison Region Economic Partnership. Homeowners interested in loans can call 1-800-562-5546.
All right, Maddie O'Neill in the news center. Maddie, thank you.
We've had almost 2 weeks of dry weather, which has been needed after the historic flooding, but there are now several chances for rain this week. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalzi now with our first alert forecast. Gary?
Hi, Charlotte. And after a warm and humid day today, those first chances will arrive later on tonight. In fact, we start out by taking a look at alert days in the forecast. We have them for Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday, showers and thunderstorms could bring some heavy downpours. And Thursday, not only is the potential for heavy rain, but perhaps even some severe weather, especially if we get some sunshine in the middle part of the day. Visible cloud track shows big thunderstorms moving across Minnesota and far northern Iowa. Those have been weakening as they push toward the La Crosse area, but you can see some showers and storms about ready to move into the western portions of Juneau County, and maybe a couple of showers and storms into far southwestern Wisconsin over the next couple of hours. Low temperatures this morning started out mild thanks to the humidity. 62 is the overnight low temperature in Madison. High temperature hit 88 in town, but you can see Milwaukee hit 90, La Crosse at 91, as was Black River Falls and Wautoma. Current temperatures are in the middle 80s, although where the rain has moved through, like in La Crosse, temperatures have dropped into the middle 70s to the upper 60s. Dew point temperatures generally in the mid to upper 60s, so it is pretty humid out there. And heat index values in some places are in the 90s, including Boscobel at 93 degrees. By tomorrow morning, look for showers and thunderstorms to develop after midnight in most areas. Look for a low in the mid-60s. High temperatures tomorrow will be held down because of the clouds and shower and thunderstorm chances, which will be mainly in the morning. Our high temperature at 78. That's your first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. A group of developers wants to build a hotel on State Street. It's going before the Madison Plan Commission right now. The group wants to build a 4-story hotel on the State Street side with a glass building rising from it. On the Dayton and Carroll side, that would be 9 stories, including a rooftop garden and terrace. The issue is the plan is 7 to 19 feet higher than zoning allows, but developers say they can't budget on the height.
If we had a business plan that could fit into a slightly smaller box, we would put it in a smaller box. We wouldn't wait around for 2 years trying to get it done.
Now, the Landmarks and Urban Design Commissions have already approved the idea. Next is the Plan Commission, which will make its recommendation to council. Planning staff have said they are against the project because it doesn't fit those height limits. But the Plan Commission doesn't necessarily have to follow that recommendation tonight, and Common Council will eventually come to their own conclusion as well. 911
lines are down right now in Adams and Juneau counties. Frontier Communications says a third-party excavator dug into and severed 2 fiber optic and copper cables. Adams County reported the lines down around 3 o'clock this afternoon. Juneau reported it around 2:45. In August, there was an outage in all these counties as well as Marquette. That outage lasted about 5 hours. Madison police say they arrested a teenager after what they are calling a massive fight Friday night involving upwards of 100 kids after a high school football game. It happened at Mansfield Stadium after the Madison Memorial Madison West game. Police say they were called to help control a group of unruly teenagers. When they got there, officers say several groups of kids were fighting in the parking lot. Police say the teens were chanting MPK, an acronym they say stands for Madison Police Killers. Officers arrested a 15-year-old boy after he punched a girl. During the arrest, the officers say the crowd circled them and continued to make threats.
The Jefferson County Health Department is offering free flu vaccine clinics this fall at several school districts. Usually the health department cannot vaccinate children who have private health insurance that covers vaccines. However, due to this being a, quote, mass clinic exercise, all children, regardless of insurance, can receive the shot for free. They'll be held in Waterloo, Johnson Creek, Palmyra, Fort Atkinson, Cambridge, Jefferson, and Lake Mills. The dates are there on your screen. The department says on the injectable vaccine, it will be available. Only the injectable vaccine. The nasal spray will not be. New studies have shown Wisconsin has the lowest number of dairy farmers since 2013, a decline of nearly 20%.
While that trend is nothing new, the rate at which it's happening is. Jamie Perez spoke with a farmer and a farming expert to see what's behind the rapid decline here in Wisconsin.
When it comes down to it, farming is a business.
A business and an identity for some, like Doug Rebout.
Once you're in, you're in.
He's been in for about 50 years on this very same farm for all of it.
Good years and bad years.
This happens to be one of those bad years. It's actually the worst year since 2013.
I wasn't surprised.
Mark here knows the decline is at an all-time high for dairy farmers. Milk prices have been low for 4 years.
Simply too much milk production happening in the world right now relative to demand.
Meaning people are leaving the industry.
Oh, it is sad because I know the farmers that are getting out of it love what they do.
Doug loves what he does too, but he's not one of the ones leaving.
Suck it up and keep going.
For as long as he can, at least. He says he's okay for now, hasn't felt much of a financial sting as those who are choosing to leave.
Their cash reserves have pretty much been gone, and many of them are having to start to borrow now to continue milking.
A cost that's too high for many farmers. Mark says some of them simply retire, but Doug...
We don't sit there and go, oh no, we're having a hard time, what do we do? Farmers are strong people, and they know we got to keep going.
While many other farmers' cash reserves might be slim right now, Doug says he's powering through.
Yes, we have looked at it, and we've made the decision that on our farm, we're going to keep going with it.
In Janesville, Jamie Perez, WISC News 3.
Experts say with a bit of time, the demand for milk production will increase again as the production tightens up.
When that happens, they say they predict dairy farming will hopefully steady itself out once again.
Still ahead tonight, Madison's first ever fitness week is kicking off today.
Plus, going the extra mile to keep the upcoming election as safe and efficient as possible. That story just ahead. Stay with us. The weeks are winding down until the November election.
The Wisconsin Center for Investigative Journalism published a report this week asking questions about how secure elections are in Wisconsin, and that got people talking. Every year, our state system is the target of 9 million scanning attempts. The Wisconsin Elections Commission says the system is designed to easily block those attempts, but they were happy to receive nearly $7 million this year from the federal government for election security. Much of that grant money went toward hiring new staff members this month, but the commission is holding a meeting next Tuesday asking for ways to put the rest of the money to good use.
Getting yourself to the gym can be challenging. That problem is what the first ever Madison Fitness Week is trying to take on. Participants in the event can make a $15 donation to attend classes at over 20 different gyms and fitness studios through Wednesday. Proceeds are going to the United Way. Organizers say that the event is a perfect way to make fitness more approachable.
That's the kind of idea, to get people in to see, what really you would be spending your money on, what the classes are like, kind of let that wall down of that scary walking into the gym for the first time and making people feel comfortable and welcome.
Over 350 people have signed up for Fitness Week. Organizers say those donations they have received have exceeded expectation.
Young girls across southern Wisconsin are meeting up on the mat to show who's boss this fall. This right here is wrestling practice at Iowa Grant schools, but these are wrestlers from across the state coming together after they say the WIAA decided against sanctioning a girls-only state wrestling championship. They want to keep working to prove they're just as good as the boys or better.
Girls can do it too, and it's not just boys that can do it. That girls are more powerful, stronger than the boys are. I've wrestled a lot of girls and a lot of boys, and I would say my toughest enemies are the girls.
Coming up tonight only on News 3, you can hear more from Delia and the other girls inspiring the rest of us to keep working toward our goals. Their story tonight on News 3 at 10. There is more to come tonight on News 3 at 6.
Still headed sports, reaction from yesterday's tie at Lambeau Field and the latest on a change today in the Vikings organization.
After nearly tying a record high temperature here in Madison, some thunderstorms out by the La Crosse area heading in our direction. I'll have your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
My Gotham
All right, our Coats for Kids totals, more than 900 now. Continue to drop those off at your Clinky Cleaners locations, and it's hard to believe when you've got temperatures in the 90s, but it will be cooler eventually, and we do have, finally, after a dry spell, some rain in the area.
Yeah, in fact, we actually have a severe thunderstorm warning for the far northern portions of Juneau County until 6:45. Let's start out by taking a look at that. It's just in the far northern portions of that county back into Jackson County, but some of these thunderstorms are producing winds in the 50 to 60 mile per hour range as they've moved through Sparta and head northeastward. The main threat here is probably going to be strong winds. You can see this area that's a little bit lighter in color, the area in red here. That's where the strongest winds are, and they're already shifting to the north into parts of Portage County. So the far northern portions of Juneau County would be the area that would be most concerned, at least as far as any kind of strong winds. Hail maybe up to the size of Nichols as the storm moves out of Jackson County. Again, the greater hail threat is actually back into Jackson County and eventually will stay north of Juneau County. But this is part of an area of thunderstorms. It's moved out of the La Crosse area and is tracking through the far northern parts of our viewing area, but a little wider radar perspective shows some storms trying to get going at times into parts of eastern Iowa. Another batch of storms behind it. We'll see more thunderstorm development to our west that'll be moving in here later on tonight. I think the best chances for most of our viewing area will be later on after midnight into tomorrow morning. In the short-term future Doppler track over the next 3 hours takes these thunderstorms almost due eastward, but weakens them as they push into an area where the atmosphere is a little bit more stable. There's warm air aloft, and that's going to keep the thunderstorms from getting too strong. But there is a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms basically west of the Dells and Richland Center back into southern Minnesota, northern Iowa for tonight. Gusty winds and hail are the main threats, and I think most of that will be over the next couple of hours. However, we have alert days in the forecast for Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday, showers and thunderstorms with temperatures in the low 70s could produce heavy rainfall. Then Thursday, as a warm front comes through and then a cold front late in the day or at night, we could see a couple of rounds of showers and thunderstorms. Those could produce heavy rainfall. But there's also the potential for some severe weather as well, high winds and hail in the stronger thunderstorms. Live view from the Queeby Radio Skycam in Platteville, starting to catch the anvil tops of those storms well to the north and west. The WISC Skycam looking off toward the west, still seeing sunshine, so the clouds way in the distance, and the Edgewater Skycam looking back toward the south and east shows clear skies east of Madison. As we check out the almanac for today, high temperature 88. The National Weather Service says we did make it up to 89. The record high for today, 90, set back in 1955, so we're just shy of that. The low 62. Right now we're at 86 degrees. The air is calm. The humidity at 48%. But the heat index is at 87 as the dew point temperature is in the middle 60s. So for tonight, look for a low of 64, showers and thunderstorms. Best chances for most areas will be after midnight. For tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms. It'll be cooler, high temperature at 78, and the best chances for rain probably in the morning. So you can see the first batch of storms heading to the north, then more showers and storms sweeping through overnight into early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, most areas staying relatively dry during the day, and then more showers and storms arriving tomorrow night into Wednesday. Some of those could produce heavy rainfall. A couple of waves on Wednesday, and then more showers and storms on Thursday as well. Again, rainfall amounts could be excessive, 1 to 2 inches, with heavier amounts over 3 inches in some areas that get the heaviest thunderstorms. But the 7 to 10 day forecast calls for temperatures to be a little more seasonal. Alert days in the forecast for Wednesday and Thursday, thanks to those thunderstorms, and then some more storms by the middle of next week.
Well, it's going to be the question of the season. What exactly does roughing the passer the penalty entail? The NFL and head coach Mike McCarthy weigh in next in sports.
News
the Badger football team dropped from 6th to 18th in the college football rankings after its loss to BYU on Saturday at Camp Randall. But no time to dwell on it because the Big Ten season starts this Saturday with a night game at Iowa. Saturday's loss was frustrating for a lot of reasons. It seemed like there was never really a spark or something that got the Badgers going. As a result, the team suffered their first loss of the season, and going to Iowa is going to be a tremendous challenge, but a challenge that head coach Paul Chryst and his players are looking forward to.
Expectations or whatever is being said, that doesn't matter. It's about the game and how you play it and what you do now. And I think we've done some good, and there's areas we got to improve on. And this group wants to be as good as it can be, and that's all you can ask for as a coach, and our job is to help them get there. Every one of these players have been in a similar type of a situation, and how do you handle any of it? It's what can you take away from it, learn from, and how do you move forward?
Meanwhile, the NFL clearing up any debate over the question of what is roughing the passer today. The league said today that the penalty on Clay Matthews during the fourth quarter of yesterday's Vikings-Packers game was the right call. Not only that, according to the league, they're going to use it as an example on teaching tape to teams. Referee Tony Correnti said yesterday that it was the right call because Matthews lifted Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins and drove him into the ground. Matthews called it a terrible call yesterday, and today head coach Mike McCarthy weighs in.
You got to make sure you're looking at all the variables, and I'm not sure that all the variables are clear right now. So, I mean, you look at both of the penalties that were called in the game. The quarterbacks, they're trying to throw the ball. I mean, that's got to be, if you're trying to throw the ball and you're totally exposed. I mean, I think that may have to potentially factor in the action. So, I think that's where a little bit of the gray area is.
And speaking of that game, kicker Daniel Carlson was cut from the Vikings today after he went 0 for 3 on field goals in the game, including this one that would have won the game for Minnesota. The Vikings are expected to replace him with veteran free agent kicker Dan Bailey. And it's the trade heard around the NFL today. The Browns have traded Josh Gordon to the Patriots. In return, Cleveland will get a 5th-round pick, and New England will get a 7th-round pick from the Browns if Gordon is not active for 10 games. Now, why the trade? Well, according to ESPN, Gordon allegedly broke the team's trust. One of the issues was he said that he had a hamstring issue on Saturday after fully participating in practice all week. The 27-year-old has been suspended for the majority of the last 4 seasons due to multiple drug violations. Well, Friday night, our Prep Mania high school football game of the week takes us to Sun Prairie, where the Cardinals and Madison La Follette still have hopes of a Big 8 conference championship. Jay Wilson, Bill Brophy, and Alan Minert will have the game live on TVW and live streamed on channel3000.com. That's Friday night at 7 p.m. The Brewers coming off of a series loss to the Pirates, but the team is still just 2.5 games behind the Cubs in the NL Central and in control of the NL wildcard race with a 3-game lead over the Dodgers and Cardinals. They're tied for 2nd. Tonight, the Brewers will host the Reds with Wade Miley on the mound. He's fared well in his 6 starts this season, only allowing 2 or fewer runs. First pitch in a little bit at 6:40, guys. So a lot going on today.
Yeah, you need a couple wins for our Wisconsin teams, right? That was a rough weekend to be in the sports
It was like
department.
an emotional weekend. We're going to call it an emotional weekend.
And exhausting as well. Final check with Gary. Got some rain out there.
Severe thunderstorm warning has now been canceled for the northern portion of Juneau County. Still some strong thunderstorms rolling through the area there. We'll see more showers and storms moving through southern Wisconsin, especially after midnight tonight. Otherwise, 7 to 10 day forecast. Alert days in the forecast for Wednesday and Thursday for heavy rain potential, as well as maybe some severe weather on Thursday. Temperatures back up to 80 on Thursday, but more in the low to mid 70s through the weekend. A brief warm up to 80 on Tuesday of next week as a big storm moves through, and more showers and storms drop temperatures after that.
All right, Gary, thank you. Thanks for joining us at 6.
Have a great evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.